Hey, Grand Rising, good people. I thought I'd come on today empowered and excited to bring you this topic of cool conversations. Truth is always more powerful than fiction. On that note, love, light, and healing. Peace, love, light, and healing. Peace, love, light, and healing. Baruch Hashem and Baruch Atah. You know, I have to come on today and let you all know that truth is far more powerful than fiction. You know, for you all that we received messages that from that powerful display from my man Kendrick Lamar, and that and that fake pigskin competition or show. You know what I mean? Power to you all, power. You know what I mean? There was so many universal messages in that performance that I didn't watch the actual competition or the pork skin competition, but I did pick up on that. I did receive from the powerful message that Kendrick Lamar sent to us. You know, it's by universal law that the devil and his demons in operation on this earth, they are held to standard that they have to display, what they're doing. And for those that look beyond their physical eyes, those that see beyond their physical eyes, and those that hear beyond their physical ears, I want to compel you all to go and watch that Mufasa. I don't operate in foolishness, but I operate through foolishness. I am able to operate through foolishness. Now, that said, there are so many universal messages, so many spiritual messages in that movie Mufasa. I don't know where to begin, so I guess I'll begin at the beginning. You know, Mufasa, he was king. You know, his name from standards was king. You know, I received so many messages from that movie, The Lion King, that I had to come on and elaborate on what I received from Mufasa. Now, this is a story inside of a story told inside of a story. For all who hadn't watched it, I just want to be the first to let you know, if you see beyond your physical eyes, and you hear beyond your physical ears, then you're in store for a treat. Because, you know, at the beginning of the show, at the beginning of this movie, shortly after the beginning, or we'll say the beginning, he's given over unto some babysitters. You know, I think it's Timon and Pumbaa or something like that. But you know what I'm saying? Timon and Pumbaa, they're to babysit the man. I may have the names wrong, but still, you all know where I'm coming from. You know, the king, his dad leaves him with them to babysit, and then Rafiki comes into the picture. Now, Rafiki is a storyteller inside this story, mind you. There's so much powerful messages that came from this that I received that I'll just begin from the beginning. You know, as I said, you know, my man Mufasa, as a baby, you know, as a cub, he gets caught up in the rain, and he gets excited. You know, he asking his dad. And keep in mind, this is a story inside a story. You know, he asks. I guess it's his first encounter with the rain, and he asks his dad, "What is this?" And his dad he and his mom, they're together, whatnot, and they tell him it's rain, and he gets caught up in it. You know, he's running around, frolicking, and you know, he takes in some foolishness and just, you know, what kids do when they play, you know, when they get a little bit beside themselves. But anyway, he gets washed away in this great flood. You know, washed into a whole nother region, so to speak. You know what I mean? And so he's considered. He encounters another cub after his drowning experience and whatnot, and he kind of resurfaces in the water, and he encounters another cub in this other region, in this new region named Taka. Now, this is good. It's really good because they play with each other after he, you know, helps him out of the water right before he gets almost eaten by a crocodile or alligator or whatnot. Okay, so he's considering him his brother because he said he always wanted a brother. Taka always wanted a brother. So he's considering Mufasa and calling Mufasa his brother. Okay, now, you know, as the movie goes on, he encounters his mom, and Taka's mom and whatnot, and the dad of the pride. They consider Mufasa a stray. Now that's powerful in itself, because they consider him a stray from a stray, meaning a stranger from another land, so on and so forth. The dad makes the proclamation or the declaration that he wouldn't, that he wasn't going to keep him in his pride. He wasn't going to be around, you know, hanging around with his son Taka. He didn't want anything from Mufasa to rub off on Taka. Now keep in mind, Mufasa is a king. You know, Mufasa is a king in his land, mind you. Okay. Now, the mom, you know, says she makes the declaration that she's going to keep him with her. She's going to raise Mufasa, knowing that it's not her baby or whatnot. Still, I missed a point that I find was powerful in the movie, because before Mufasa started frolicking around in the rain and whatnot, he had challenged his dad to a race, but his dad made a statement that was pretty powerful. He sold it to his son, and he told him, "You are the fastest cub. I couldn't beat you. You are the fastest cub that there ever was." Okay? Now, that's crazy because, and it's pertinent at the same time, because Mufasa had to race Taka in order for him to have a position, or in order for him to stay in that region, so to speak. The dad of the pride had made the dad of Taka, he had made the statement that he had made the challenge, let him race. And if Taka, my son, beats him, then we'll cast him aside. We'll cast him, you know, away. And the mom of the pride made the statement, well, okay, if he wins, then he'll stay with us and I'll raise him. Okay, so they raced, and through, you know, the thicket and the water and so on and so forth, Taka ends up making the statement saying, "I always wanted a brother." And so he allowed Mufasa to win, so to speak. Okay. So they ended up raising him. The mother of the pride, ended up raising Mufasa, and he came of age, and they found themselves in a hunt, the mother and Mufasa, and they were hunting for food and whatnot. And this is where the movie got really interesting to me as far as messages, because there were two lions, and they were of a white pride. Now, their intention was not, they were out on a hunt also, but they weren't hunting for food necessarily. They weren't hunting the antelope for food, or the gazelle for food. They were hunting Mufasa and the mother of the pride. Now, keep in mind, this is not Mufasa's mom, but this is the lady that was the lioness, so to speak, that was raising Mufasa, that had volunteered to raise Mufasa. Okay? So, these lions from a white pride are hunting Mufasa and the lioness. Now, lioness, beforehand, she teaches in her teaching Mufasa how to hunt. There's implications of meditation. She tells him to close his eyes and tell her what he feels. Not what he smells, but what he feels. And I would imagine that, lions, they do a lot of their sensitivity is in their nose and whatnot. So they, as other animals are, their senses are heightened by their ears and whatnot, what they hear. In this instance, she told him to close his eyes and tell her what he felt. Okay? So he's sensing his mother in the distance. He tells her he senses his mother in the distance. Keeping in mind, this is during a state of meditation. Now, meditation is implied and shown, displayed, and practiced throughout this movie. And this is with the animals. Keep in mind, because it's an animal-oriented movie. Okay? Now, I found that interesting in that when he closed his eyes and he found himself in a meditative state, and she had laid down and she had him lay down also, how they lay down, lions. And so as he was in this meditative position and meditative state, he really concentrated, and he said he smelt his mom. He sensed his mom in the distance, as far as in another land, he could sense her, but he couldn't see her. And it was very interesting in that. I found that very impacting. On the same token, we refrain back to the white pride of lions. Now, it was only 2 lions on the hunt at the time from this white pride. And as again, I say, they weren't hunting for food necessarily, the regular gazelle or antelope or whatnot. They were hunting Mufasa and the lioness, okay? Now, they sensed the lion, the white pride, the 2 lions from the white pride kind of surprised them. But at the same time, the lioness, she sensed them before the actual attack. Well, in the rumble, one of the lions from the white pride was the son of the king of this white pride. Of course, Mufasa kills him in the tumble, and he protects the mother from the other lion, the other white lion from the pride, from the white pride. Okay, now this is very powerful because the son of the mother lioness was around. He was witnessing this, and instead of him helping the mom, helping his mother, he cowered it out. He acted as a coward and he shirked away and whatnot. Now, Mufasa saw him, as well as his mother, the lioness. She saw him coward, do the coward move and shirk away and run back to their pride. Now, it was powerful because the dad of the pride, who had rejected Mufasa when he was a cub and whatnot, he ended up having to eat crow, so to speak, and pay props to Mufasa and tell him how appreciative he was. Now, beforehand, the dad had told his son Taka that he didn't want to take on Mufasa as a brother because he would deceive him, that he would turn his back on him and whatnot, sowing negativity into the son Taka concerning Mufasa. saying that Mufasa wasn't of their bloodline, and that was impacting as well. I found that very significant in that Mufasa from the start had royal blood. You see? And for him to go into another pride, or having been washed away into another region, into another pride, consequently, that he didn't have their blood. And that was very indicative, that was very significant in the movie, is they spoke on having pure blood, okay? Now, though he didn't have the blood of Taka or his dad, or Taka's dad, then he still had pure blood, as a king. Now, this was very significant because it reminded me of us as a Hebrew people, being brought to a land. Some of us were brought to this land. Some of us were here from the beginning. I believe it was the Niji, the Indian people, they were here, and those of us who don't truly have a wrap on our heritage or our lineage or whatnot, because concerning where we came from, we could have been brought up, we could have been here before slavery or whatnot, as far as the Niji people. At the same time, those of us who are from Africa and were brought over here, you see, we kind of lost contact. And so that's where I assimilate us with Mufasa, in contrast to Taka having been in the land that Mufasa was washed into, okay, or brought into by the water, so to speak. Now, with that in mind, after the betrayal, after the cowardice act of betrayal, coward act by Taka and the dad of the tribe upholding and paying props to Mufasa for his actions concerning saving his wife, the lioness, then they continued to grow. They continued to grow up together, Mufasa and Taka. Now, fast forwarded. Now keep in mind, this is something else that was impactful to me and really stood out was Rafiki. He's telling the tale to the cub Mufasa along with Simone and Pumbaa in the picture, Simone and Pumbaa and whatnot. Okay? Now, in the tale that Rafiki is telling, he has a brother, and he's a second Rafiki. He ends up being the guide to this group. We'll continue on in that. As the movie goes on, this white pride, that was impactful also, because the message gets back to the white pride by the lion that survived the attack. Whenever they surprise attacked Mufasa and the lioness. Okay, he got back to the white pride, and he reported to the king of that tribe, that white pride, what had happened. Well, of course, the king of this white pride, he releases some lionesses to kill the lion, the cowardice lion who didn't save his son that Mufasa had killed in the Little Rumble. Okay? Now, he set his heart to vengeance against Mufasa and all other lions that may have been affiliated with Mufasa at this time. Now, this is a strange tribe, a strange pride, remind you. It's not Mufasa's original family, okay? So, they set themselves this white pride, which was indicative to white pride, racism, that we suffer from in this day and time. So this is something that I also found very powerful and very significant. They set themselves to go and kill whomever it was that killed his son. Okay? Now, in all of this, the pride that the pride that Mufasa had found himself being raised in or whatnot, they were a target. So but the king, he didn't show too many. He didn't his traits weren't and characteristics weren't far from his own son, because when the king of the white pride approached him with all of his pride and to verse them, to battle them, he in a sense he bowed down. But because he was who he was and his standing was the way it was, he had to fight against the leader, the king of the white pride. And of course he lost his life, and that led to, I believe, the decimation of his entire tribe or his entire pride. Okay. Now, those that escaped, there was some that escaped from that king's pride, that, they escaped. Now, this is something that I kind of fast forwarded through, but I trust that those that see beyond their physical eyes and those that hear beyond their physical ears, that they would go and be compelled to watch the movie, to receive the messages that I did, and maybe even some far deeper. On the same token, they sang about Mufasa's dad and his mother. They sang about a land called Mulani. Now, I've yet to go and look up the definition of Mulani, but I believe it has some spiritual ramifications as well. But yeah, my whole point in bringing that up, because it's significant into the rest of the movie. They set out on a trek. The brother Taka and Mufasa, after they run, they sense the white pride in chasing them. Even after they got away, because the mother, the lioness, she sent them both away, sent Taka and Mufasa away. It was actually the dad of the tribe, of the pride. He sent them away because he wanted his line to continue, his bloodline to continue in his son Taka. So he set Mufasa to as his protector, that they would leave the land and I guess go get reestablished in another land. But after the white pride came unto him and killed him and killed off a good portion of his pride, they chased Mufasa. They decided to chase Mufasa and Taka in order to kill them off as well. Okay, in the chase, Mufasa and Taka, they encountered the white lions. Some of them caught up with him, and in his cowardice act, again, Mufasa was ready to fight, but Taka snatched him in some type of way and drug him down with him into the Great Cascade. So again, they get washed away, and again, safe yet washed away. Ran from the fight, away from the fight, yet washed away. Okay, now Mufasa was ready to stand and fight, but again, this coward Taka ended up dragging him into the water over the edge of a cliff, and they ended up safe away from the white pride. Now, the white pride stood out to me for the simple fact of, again, I stress the racism that we encounter as a people today. Okay? Now, a lot of us choose to run from it, but a lot of us choose to go with it, excuse me. Some of us choose to entangle ourselves with these pink toes, with the white pride, or the Americanized mentality, due again to the worshiping of the dollar, which is a whole nother god. I don't want to get off topic concerning Mufasa, because I found it really compelling and really telling. You know what I mean? It was really powerful in the universal message that I received from it. But again, keep in mind this is a tale told inside of a tale, because Rafiki is telling this story to Mufasa. He's longing for his mother and dad, mind you, all the time, because his dad, as I said, left him with Timon, with Simone and Pumbaa, and then Rafiki steps into the picture, and he's telling Mufasa this story. So as we go on, that was something also that was powerful, because in the tale, again, Rafiki has a brother, and Rafiki is the leader of Mufasa, Taka. They encounter a couple of other lionesses and a bird. I would say it's like Toucan Sam or whatnot, and but it's 5 of them, and so this Rafiki is leading them to this land of Mulali. Keeping in mind this white pride is chasing them. Okay. Now, as you fast forward and go through the movie, they encounter snow and so on and so forth. I don't know what region they're in, and it couldn't be Africa, because there is no snow in Africa, as we understand. On the same token, they end up encountering, I guess this is in the tale, they encounter snow and whatnot. The bird plays a part in covering up the snow. Now, covering up the footsteps in order that the white pride couldn't follow him into this land of Mulali, this land of peace, this land of abundance. Okay, it's the perfect land, it's paradise, so to speak. Now, there was a part in the movie that was it was implying, it was really indicating meditation. Meditation, again, I stress, was implied and in this movie throughout, in this tale. Okay, that only goes to let us know that, because through their meditation, they were centering in on things, on He that is in us. And that's what enabled them to use their wisdom and intellect and whatnot to avoid this white pride and overcome this white pride. Now, it all really came down to courage in the end. As you watch the movie, those that, like I say, that see beyond the physical eyes, and those that hear beyond the physical ears, you'll receive the messages as I did, and you'll see where I'm coming from. You'll understand where I'm coming from and the power of this movie. It really is powerful. It's a kids movie or whatnot, but it is so powerful. And so for you to take your children, I would ask that you take your children to watch it, or watch it at home, and be one of those that you break it down for your children, them being of age and be of an understanding that they can fathom where you're coming from and fathom the impact of that movie and the intention of that movie. It's really a good movie. Rafiki's brother, so to speak, he has his eyes closed in a meditative state. And one of the animals tells him, how can you see? He implies that he's asleep. But Rafiki's brother makes the statement that though my eyes are closed, I can still see. And that in itself was powerful, because that allowed me to understand that he was seeing through his third eye, his pineal gland, and that in itself was that brought a joy to my heart. And that those that watch this movie, I can only trust that they're of a meditating type, and that they tap inside of themselves and not just take for granted what they see in this matrix with their physical eyes as reality. Again, truth is far more powerful than fiction. And in this movie, which is made from a fictional standpoint, is truth. And it's powerful, because we can even go back, those that read outside of the Bible, those that read other other books and other works for the spiritual manifestation and the spiritual maturity, then you'll find that before sin or wrongdoing had manifested in this earth, animals could talk. Consequently, you have the dragon or the serpent that spoke. Nevertheless, I progress and continue to speak concerning the powerful meaning of this movie and the universal meanings, the universe speaking to us through this movie. Again, universal law holding to standard the devil and the demons in their actions on this earth, that they have to show what they're doing. But this movie right here is so powerful in that it's a movie of unification, because, oh wow, it's wonderful. It's really powerful in that after all of the running from the white pride and the turning of the back of Taka due to the lioness that he wanted, that they encountered, and she joined their party. You know, Mufasa, she really had an attraction toward Mufasa and his leadership abilities from his intuition, from the discernment that operated in and through him. That's what attracted her. So we won't go into, we can say that the outer appearance, the outer attraction is cool, but what she was attracted to was his inner, how he followed his intuition, how he listened to discernment, so to speak. Now, in us as a people, we have to tap into that greater that is he, that greater he that is in us than he that is in this world. That brings about the diamonds on the flesh and the gold chains on the neck, the outer appearance, the diamonds in the ear, in the earrings and whatnot, and so on and so forth. You know, we have to tap into that great beauty, the beauty that is more beautiful than any inner beauty, any beauty at all. You know, the outer aesthetics that we stack onto ourselves, be it chains, earrings, be it fake hair for females, extensions or whatnot. You know, causing you to miss the messages that the universe truly has for you, due to the materials that the hair is made of. Be it our males that put on whatever that they put on, be it, like I say, the gold rings, the gold chains around the neck, the most expensive watches and bracelets and so on and so forth. That's irrelevant. And it really shows through this movie, because as he taps into he goes into his meditative states, which is his natural ability, his natural thing to do, to be able to smell outside, he smelled, they were in a state in the snow. Again, this is a tale inside of a tale, but Mufasa smells. He smells a bird trapped in the snow, and that impressed this lioness. It all goes back to not impressing the lioness, but him tapping into his true inner in order to get them to where they needed to go, along with Rafiki's brother leading them and whatnot. And he was one that meditated as well, to tap into, which way to lead them and so on and so forth to this land of Mulali, okay? Now, in the end, they get to Mulali, but only, and then the deception of the Taka, because he feels deceived by and betrayed by Mufasa, in that he heard a conversation taking place between Mufasa and this lady, the lioness. And though Mufasa had given him tips and hints and insight as to how to attract this lady, this lioness, because he had an attraction toward her, then though Mufasa had given him this insight and some some game, so to speak, as to how to get to to how to track the lady, the lioness, then it was a false persona because he didn't put forth the shadow work, and the leg work to not only tap into himself in order that he could smell the roses or the flower on the lady, on the fragrance that was on the lioness. If you watch the movie, you'll see where I'm coming from, because Mufasa, he smelled the roses or the fragrance from the lioness. Consequently, it told him the land that she was actually from. Well, he gave that game to Taka, and Taka, he tried to, lay it onto the lioness, but it was no authenticity in it. There was no authentic feeling or emotion or whatnot, or revelation, should I say, that Taka had experienced in order for him to relay that to the lioness. So it was given to him secondhand through the original, through Mufasa, who had originally smelled it or sensed it on her. So in turn, it came off as fictitious whenever he relayed the information to the lioness, as if it came from him. But moving on, he felt betrayed by Mufasa in that, and so he turned his back on the other four that were, in this journey, on this journey with him. Now that's selfishness. I got that selfish demon was on him, and he wasn't about the group. He was about himself, which is a lot of us these days. That's our people. A lot of our people. I speak those things that are, but I desire to speak those things that be not, and as though they are. In our unification and in our unifying, I can see how a lot of us, a lot have fallen off, or they choose to stay with the Americanized mentality, in worshiping the dollar and following after the riches, and following after the name brand shoes, the Nikes, the clothes, and status, as far as the dollar is my status. That tells who I am, having no spiritual being, no spiritual grounding. Those that really get caught up in the system, so to speak, or have Americanized mindsets, I find that they're chasing the dream, the American dream, and the rat race of life, so to speak. And they have no time to meditate and see the greater who is inside, because we understand that the Most High resides inside of us. As he breathed into our nostrils, he imparted himself into this flesh, into this mode of transportation. What I like to consider the flesh is a mode of transportation, in order for the spirit of the Most High to move around in this earth and accomplish the things that he would have done, or would have to be done. But again, after the deception, they reached the land of Mulali, and they're rejoicing. On the same token, soon after, the white pride, of course, is led there by Taka, from a secretive agreement that they made, a pact with him, that he said he would lead them to Mufasa, who he admitted to the king of the white pride had killed his son. Okay, now they get there. Of course, the white pride follows them to this glorious land of Mulali, and the other tribes, and I say the other tribes because there are giraffes, there are hippopotamuses, there are antelopes, there are gazelles, there are other animals, hippopotamuses, there in this land of Mulali. Okay, now when the revelation is discovered, or when it's discovered that that the white pride has followed Taka to this land, as well as, and Mufasa being the prime enemy, so to speak, you know, the other animals, they're of the other tribes of animals, they're scared, you know. Well, you know, we've been living here in peace, you know, so on and so forth, but this white pride has came for you, you know. White pride being racism. Again, I resort to racism because it was a white pride of lions. That was it wasn't ironic, but it was actual factual. You know, that's the way that they wrote the movie, and that was indicative to the white pride that runs that white pride, or that prejudice demon, or that bigoted demon that runs the earth and runs rampant in Donald Trump's time right now. So you can liken the king of the white pride to Donald Trump if you like. I didn't make the assimilation or the association. On the same token, with him being the leader of the nation, I didn't put it in a physical standpoint. I looked at it from a spiritual standpoint, because that's how I am empowered to operate. Yeah, I see things from a spiritual standpoint more than a physical. But you can put them, you can correlate, you can do the correlation on the same, or make the correlation. On the same token, Mufasa and the lion, the white pride lion king, they get into it. The king of the white pride, they get into it. Taka ends up somewhere down the line in this tussle, standing up for Mufasa, but not really playing a significant part in it. In scenario, the white pride, the lion of the king of the white pride, ends up being crushed by a stone in the water as they fall and fight and tussle and whatnot. Mufasa again is saved by Taka, because of course he runs from this fight, and he saves Mufasa once again. But all in the process of the white pride invading the land of Mulali, Mufasa makes a speech. He gives a speech to unite all of the different animals together as one. And that was very significant to me, in that we, as a Hebrew people, we lead in everything. That's a known fact. Everybody wants to be us. Everyone wants to be like us. You know, resorting to what Kendrick Lamar said, they are not like us. On the same token, with Mufasa giving this speech, he brought everybody into unity to fight against this white pride. Okay? Now, we look at bigotry, we look at prejudice, we look at racism, and all those things are against us. Now, we've seen it being pointed, that gun of bigotry and whatnot, and hate being pointed toward our brothers in the tribe of Issachar, the Mexicans and Venezuelans and all other people that are considered illegal immigrants in this America by illegal immigrants. Because we understand that the Pintos, they are original people of Tamari, what people call today as America. But because the enemy was given reign over this earth due to our disobedience as a Hebrew nation, it is our time, though, to rise again and to be back in power of what is rightfully ours. And so, as we see the demise and the destruction of the white pride, though it might seem like it's at its peak right now, or at its strongest point right now, it's not. because as we understand that their nation is their nationality is dying off more and more by as we speak. Consequently, the contamination of the food and the poisoning of the food and so on and so forth. But things are about to be righted, and all of this wrong, they're being righted even as we speak, or even as I speak. So, going back to the movie, as I said, Mufasa makes this reveling speech that brings all the nations together, all the tribes of the different animals together to fight against this white pride. And of course, united together, they defeat the white pride. And the king of the white pride, he meets his demise, as I said, by a large stone, a rock, which was indicative to me as the word, but you all can consider it what you would. I implore you, I compel you to like this and subscribe, as this is my podcast, Cool Conversations. I'll be sharing this with Instagram according to editing. But yeah, and I challenge at Yaya to watch Mufasa, at Yaya on Instagram to watch Mufasa, and come back and give me your readings, or even publish it on Instagram. And my other seers, to all my other seers that see, at Shalandria Hall on Instagram, I'll be text messaging you or voice clipping you to watch it also, and come back and give me your interpretation and what you received from it. Know that I love everyone, and as I'm empowered to and called to. But again, I compel you all to like, subscribe, even, and share. If you don't do nothing but like it and share it, because I'm not in this for the monies. At the same time, I need 46 more subscribers in order for me to go live. And as always, love, life, healing, peace, love, light, and healing.